edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. A happy early Independence Day to you all, even though it's obvious that the President of the United States is no longer actually serving in that role. As a tribute to America, we will list in a special segment next hour all of the ways in which America is still far and away the greatest country on earth. I am so pumped up to do this to you. We also have a fantastic guest later this hour. The chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Watley, will join us at about 9:35. If you would like to join this latest foray into broadcast excellence, or at the very least, and let's face it, far more likely broadcast competence, give us a call on the adventknows.com talk and text line 414-799-1130. You can reach me toll-free 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on X, facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, or on the Dan O'Donnell Show YouTube channel. You can watch the show streaming live. Like, subscribe, retweet, share, and check out the live stream to see, well, a special 4th of July outfit on your humble host on this day before Independence Day. Jonathan Karl finally asked White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre the question that probably should have been asked, January 21st, 2021. Does the president have dementia?
I'm going to ask something delicate, and you may not like it. The president may not like to hear it if he's watching, but I think the American people need to get a yes or no answer on this. Does President Biden, at 81 years old, have Alzheimer's, any form of dementia or degenerative illness that cause these sorts of lapses? And it's a yes or no question. And if you don't know, why don't you, as one of his senior staff members, know?
I have an answer for you. Are you ready for it?
Yes.
It's a no. And I hope you're asking the other guy the same exact question.
Yes, because everyone is very concerned that Trump is no longer with it, that Trump is, in fact, the one who's showing signs of dementia. He looked obviously very clueless. He was staring with his mouth agape during the debate. Oh, wait, no, that was your guy. Unfortunately for KJP, it seems as though the tide has most definitely turned. For the first time, a Democrat congressman, Lloyd Doggett of Texas, has come out, written a powerful op-ed calling for Joe Biden to drop out. The dam is starting to break. In fact, a member of the Democratic National Committee, James Zogby, was on CNN last night outlining how exactly this would happen.
So many of the different aspects of the Democratic coalition would be super.
Joe Biden deserves better than this. This is not the way he should go out. He should go out as the person who defeated Donald Trump, who passed significant legislation in his first couple of years before we had a dysfunctional Republican leadership in Congress. And it would be an opportunity, I think, for him to give a farewell address where he becomes the person who sacrificed ambition for the sake of the country. It would be his moment in history where he'd go out, I think, elevated in stature rather than reduced. I do not want to see a situation where for the next 3, 4, 5 months, what we're doing is waiting for the next verbal gaffe, waiting for the next false step, waiting for some other sign that Joe Biden is too old. That's what the media will do. That's what you all will do. And frankly, the debate showed that, and that's all we've been talking about since, and that most likely what we'll be talking about for the next months to come. We need to be talking about a Democratic candidate with a vision for the future who actually can galvanize the party and the country, and we need to focus on that versus Donald Trump, not on whether Joe Biden can get his sentences straight.
And this, I think, is how it's going to happen. Obviously not this week because of the 4th of July holiday tomorrow, and then it's pretty much a holiday weekend from there. I think I would venture to say 50, 60% of Americans have the day off on Friday. Next week, sometime before the Republican National Convention, they may also wait until after to publicly announce that Biden is going to step down. He's going to be replaced. But I do believe it's going to happen. I think the calls are growing far too loud for the White House to ignore. And if it really is just First Lady Macbeth, Dr. Jill Biden, standing in the way because she wants to be Edith Wilson, secretly running the White House after her President Woodrow Wilson and husband had a stroke. That actually did happen, by the way. She ran the country for the better part of the final year of President Wilson's term. Do we want 4 years of President First Lady Macbeth? I doubt it. And, let's not forget that the White House was also forced to sheepishly admit that Biden is apparently so compromised that his son Fredo is now attending meetings. You've got to be kidding me. Hunter Biden is now apparently serving as de facto president. Hunter Biden.
Why is the president's son involved?
So a couple of things I saw that reporting as I was coming out. So a couple of things there. Look, the president, as you know, is very close to his family. This is a holiday week, 4th of July. He spent time with his family, as you all know, and reported at Camp David. Hunter came back with him and walked with him into that meeting, that speech prep, and he ended up spending time with his dad and his family that night. That is basically what happened. It is a week where there's going to be more family members who are going to come to the White House. I'm sure you'll see some of them on 4th of July. Many more are expected to be here.
With family being in the White House, the question though would be: is he participating in meetings with senior advisors?
What I can say is that he came back with his dad from Camp David. He walked him into the speech prep, and he was in the room. That I can tell you, he was in the room.
He was just there, taking things in, trying to sell a couple of paintings. He confused some of the sugar packets with cocaine, so he snorted a few of them and was pretty wired, bouncing off the walls. He was just there, sort of like Forrest Gump, just kind of in the background, wandering around. Oh, hey, there's President Kennedy. Folks, this has gone beyond what the White House or any of their few remaining allies in media can contain. When you see, and what I saw was the death knell, leaking internal polling that shows President Biden is now trailing in Maine. Now, there is a congressional district in Maine that is pretty, I would say it's about a 55-60% Republican district, and Maine actually apportions its electoral votes by congressional district. So occasionally you'll see something odd like a Republican win an electoral vote in Maine. However, when Trump is ahead only by 0.2% in Maine, Minnesota, he's within striking distance in Colorado. And I think the big one is that he's up in Virginia. And here's the thing that got me. There's a graphic that's showing how many, first of all, what President Biden was trailing by or ahead by before the debate. And Trump is now leading in every single swing state, plus Minnesota and Virginia and Maine. What got me, though, was the fact that nobody was raising, this was apparently an internal Democrat poll, and it's now been leaked. Nobody was raising the alarm that Biden, even before the debate, was only up by 1.5 points, well within a margin of error in Virginia. That should set off a 4-alarm fire within the Democratic Party. Now, what we don't know is, did it? And they just didn't say anything publicly. But the fact that this polling was leaked, you always have to ask yourself, when it comes to Democrats starting to leak to the media anything negative about fellow Democrats, why it's happening and why it's happening now. This polling is specifically designed to convince the few remaining holdouts within the Democratic Party that Biden can't possibly continue, that he needs to step aside, that this country needs to be saved from the ravages of the Donald Trump tyranny. And you saw the histrionics over the Supreme Court decision that came out on Monday. They want this to be saving democracy from Donald Trump. An hysterical monologue last night from Joy Reid on her show on MSNBC. Happy effing birthday, America. We now have a king. No, we don't, you idiot. President Obama did 13 years ago the thing that all of these liberals are terrified of Trump doing, using a Predator drone to take out an innocent American citizen, and he wasn't prosecuted for it. There was never even a thought of prosecuting President Obama for the killing of Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki. His father, Anwar al-Awlaki, was a radical cleric and believed to be a top organizer and leader in the al-Qaeda terror network. Obama had ordered the strike that took him and actually another American by the name of Samir Khan, also a high-ranking al-Qaeda official, out 2 weeks earlier. And that was obviously justified in prosecuting the war on terror, but in targeting another radical cleric and the 16-year-old son of al-Awlaki just happening to be there, that's something that if the Supreme Court didn't rule that the president had godlike immunity, Obama could have been prosecuted for. Oh, wait, Obama wasn't prosecuted for that. Donald Trump never once thought about getting into office and using his Department of Justice to prosecute a former president, his immediate predecessor. Only in the the Biden administration did we even contemplate using the power of government against a president for official acts done while in the presidency. This is why this Supreme Court, for the first time in American history, needed to reaffirm that, yes, obviously, the president enjoys broad immunity for things he does that are official duties. You can't just criminalize after the fact things that you don't like a former president doing. So Democrats clearly want, with all of their hysterics over the Supreme Court decision, they clearly want this to be obviously not a referendum on Biden and a question about whether Biden has dementia, but a referendum on Donald Trump. You might remember a year and a half ago when Trump did that CNN town hall, Biden's official Twitter account tweeted something incredibly prescient. And I looked at that and said, this is what they want this election to be about. It was very simple. As Trump was, being Trump for a good hour and a half on CNN. This was the thing that led to the CNN staff revolt against their president, Chris Licht, and actually ultimately led to Licht's ousting because he dared to, quote unquote, platform Donald Trump on CNN. Biden's official account said, folks, it's that simple. Do you want 4 more years of that? What this election has always had to be about for Democrats to have any prayer of winning is a referendum on Donald Trump. This was why it was so necessary to get Trump criminally convicted, to convince even the people who said, hey, wait, we could actually afford groceries under Donald Trump. I don't care about January 6th. I don't care about his political opponents calling him an enemy of democracy. Democrats realized to convince them they needed to make Trump a convicted felon. However, the plan seemed to have spectacularly backfired because it seems as though the majority of Americans don't see Trump's conviction as legitimate. They don't believe he's actually a convicted felon. They believe that the process was compromised and politicized from the start, primarily because it was. And I think you saw, in large part because of the Supreme Court's decision, but also because I think the judge and the prosecutor in New York realized that sentencing a Republican presidential candidate to prison days before he goes to Milwaukee for the RNC is a bad idea. Trump's sentencing was actually delayed until September yesterday. In short, Democrats' attempts to make this a referendum on Trump have failed. All of the attention is on Biden. All of the focus is on Democrats in disarray. Interestingly enough, do you think the past 6 days are the quietest Donald Trump has ever been in his 78 years of life? I think it's entirely possible that Trump, I'm going to ask, you know what? I'm going to ask Michael Watley. Do you have Trump tied up with duct tape over his mouth and you have taken away his phone for the last 6 days? days. He has done a great job of just stepping out of the way and letting the Democrat Party implode. You're listening to the Dan O'Donnell Show. It's classical conservatism, contemporary style.
Patriotic spirit is here to stay. Celebrate the summer with big savings at Menards. Pick up an Olympus 3x5-foot American flag today. It's made in the USA out of durable, tear-resistant material that will keep your flag flying. Show your patriotism and save big. It's on sale now through July 7th at Menards. Ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Dan here for CertaPro Painters, which provides excellent workmanship, quality, and a worry-free painting process for both residential and commercial spaces, all at the right price. You can trust them to get the job done right and done safely. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, pro.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
If you had $1 million in 2009, today it will be worth less than $700,000. That's the effect of out-of-control government spending shrinking your hard-earned dollars, and it's why central banks and savvy investors are buying gold. For thousands of years, gold has withstood war, famine, and economic downturns. It's been a stalwart hedge against inflation and hyperinflation. And the company I, Buck Sexton, trust to help you diversify into gold is Birch Gold Group. For 2 decades, Birch Gold has helped concerned Americans convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, you can trust Birch Gold, too.
To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898 and get a free, no-obligation info kit on gold. Again, text PROTECT to the number 989898 to protect your hard-earned savings today.
The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States. Since it was established in 1861, there have been 3,517 people awarded with the medal. I'm Malcolm Gladwell, and our new podcast from Pushkin Industries and iHeartMedia is about those heroes. Listen to Medal of Honor, Stories of Courage on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Medal of Honor, Stories of Courage.
O'Donnell Show on this day before the 4th of July. If you would like to see, as the kids say, the official Dan O'Donnell 4th of July fit, check out the Dan O'Cam at Dan O'Donnell Show on X. While you're there, please do give me a follow. Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Likewise, give me a follow. Shoot the show a share. You see the live stream, share it, because we are in Facebook conservative algorithm hell, and our live stream just isn't showing up on anybody's news feeds. Also, youtube.com, and search for Dan O'Donnell. Yeah, check out the fit. Producer Dave, you wish you looked this good on the 4th of July. I'm telling you, this is... Am I going in public in that? I'm wearing this all 4th of July weekend, buddy. This is the official... No, this is very breathable. Yes, I know it's 89 degrees out today. This is very breathable fabric. I'm loving it. Now, ironically, I'm taking a wild guess that this was made in China since I got it off of Amazon, but nonetheless, it at least looks patriotic. President Biden did his very best to assuage growing Democrat concerns that he's too old and too cognitively impaired to go on. Notice again, no one is talking about him stepping down as president. They're only talking about him dropping out of the race because Democrats, of course, are proving over the past week that they could not possibly care less about governance, only winning elections and holding on to power. The president is too impaired to run. This logically means he's too impaired to run the country. Dems don't care about that. They only care about winning. So Biden had to do his level best to convince everyone that he's fine. How did he do it? By reading a teleprompter instruction again. He was at NOAA talking about what else? Climate change and how dangerous it is. And, well, take a listen.
I salute President Biden. I just feel that it's time.
I keep playing the wrong soundbite. I honestly, I think I am already fantasizing about my 4th of July cookout, which is costing 40% more this year. That's our next soundbite. Here is President Biden assuaging. First of all, here's Dan O'Donnell assuaging concerns that he doesn't have dementia by constantly playing the wrong soundbite. Here's President Biden again reading a teleprompter instruction.
More people die from extreme heat than floods, hurricanes, and tornadoes combined. Say that again. Combined. More people die from heat than those 3 other major issues.
Say that again. Combined. Now, either he meant to say, let me say that again, combined, for effect, but far more likely, since I've read a teleprompter or two in my day, this is a direction for him. Combined. Say that again. There's probably a couple of brackets around it, or it's in a different color on the teleprompter to distinguish what he's supposed to say from what he's supposed to do. Why do they keep doing that? Producer Dave asked. Because somebody who writes the speeches and loads the prompter instructions is still holding on to the naive belief that Biden can read. Now, as I said in our opening monologue, the floodgates have started to open, and the narrative has shifted yet again. On Monday and yesterday, the narrative was, he's fine. It was just a bad night. It was just a bad night. I think now there is building consensus that it is, in fact, possible to replace Biden. I still maintain it would be an absolute disaster, primarily because of the money. Trump raised $330 million. Financial reporting due yesterday, and he disclosed it today. $330 million in the second quarter. In case you were wondering, that's far and away a record. Trump now has more of a campaign war chest than Biden. Let me tell you, folks, that's practically unheard of. Over the past 10 years, Democrats have enjoyed a massive money advantage for a multitude of reasons, and we've spent a lot of time on this show outlining them. But Trump having a big financial advantage is indicative, and Biden was just bragging about getting $250 million. Trump blew that out of the water. I think in large part, almost totally, because of that bogus conviction in New York, which really galvanized the American people, right and left. I've dubbed it the Scott Walker effect. People may not like Trump, but they really don't like politicization of prosecution and the weaponization of the justice system to persecute political enemies, just as in 2012, more people voted for Scott Walker in the recall election than they had just a couple of months earlier because they didn't like the idea of recalling a political figure, a governor especially, for political differences. But with Lloyd Doggett, congressman out of Texas, opening the floodgates, I believe there will be more calls. This is why we have started a montage. It is a work in progress, and we are going to add to it, even though it's a long holiday weekend. I am going to be compiling every single soundbite of every single elected Democrat, everyone who is, of course, up for re-election on the same ticket as Biden, starting to realize that their fates are tied to his and starting to get him to drop out. The narrative is shifting right before your eyes. So right now, we only have 2 congressmen. It's Doggett and Julian Castro. But trust me, folks, there will be more.
I salute President Biden. I just feel that it's time for him to step aside if we were to be able to protect what he allowed us to gain in 2020, which was a victory for democracy.
I actually don't see a path now for President Biden to stay in this race in the long term.
Now, as Julian Castro, Lloyd Doggett, trust me, there will be more. Trust me, you don't want to miss the next segment. We are going to talk to Republican National Committee Chairman Michael Watley about Biden's decline, about the Supreme Court's ruling, and about, of course, the RNC in Milwaukee. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Over the last 75 years, the Lynch family has understood the value of a relationship with their own customers, their employees, and also their community. That's just one of the reasons they've been awarded a Top Workplace Award for the 5th consecutive year. Happy employees provide top-level service, and if you're tired of the same old car buying experience and want to be treated like family, let them show you the Lynch difference. With Lynch Certified, every qualified vehicle comes with peace of mind in the form of a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty. Lynch Protected covers your windshield, road hazards, and paint for 1 year. With locations in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, and 3 stores in the McWanago community, Lynch is easy and convenient to find. Come and get treated like family and experience the Lynch difference, or find them online at shoplynch.com.
While most other furniture finishers restore wood furniture using high-pressure water to remove old lacquer and varnish, we only use a chemical solvent. Because when you use water, it will eventually raise the grain, loosen glue joints, and lift veneer. So if you have something really special that you'd like to restore, call us. For the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. If you want your restored antique piece to remain primitive, no problem. Maybe you want to restore it to as good as new condition. We can do that. The way we work is based solely on what your needs are. And that seems to make the process of restoring your unique piece almost always a positive one. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com.
Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David. I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations, Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, host of the Designer Yard Show and owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services. Do you love your landscaping? Do you appreciate the perfect blend of plants, stone, and wood that embraces your home? Do you delight in sitting on your patio with a cool drink, taking in the beauty of your backyard? If you answer yes, then we have a lot in common. Now, one more question. Does all of this beauty disappear when the sun goes down? Since 1994, the experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services have been creating beautiful landscaping that can and should be enjoyed even after dark. If the beauty and pleasure of your landscaping disappears when the sun goes down, you should consider a fully automatic landscape lighting system. The experts at Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services are gifted at creating deliciously soft, subtle nighttime scenes. To schedule a meeting with one of our lighting designers, please call 262-392-3444 or look for us online at seasonalservices.com.
Grind and Go's crews help hundreds of people finally forget that tree every week. Grind and Go's state-of-the-art online stump calculator allows you to enter the size of your stumps, where they're located, and instantly receive an estimate. GrindandGoStumps.com.
Hi, I'm Joseph, owner of EWH University. Want to grow your business? Listen every Sunday at 11 a.m. on WISN for fuel, insights, and strategies. Or visit EWHUniversity.com. EWHUniversity.com.
If you had $1 million in 2009, today it will be worth less than $700,000. That's the effect of out-of-control government spending shrinking your hard-earned dollars, and it's why central banks and savvy investors are buying gold. For thousands of years, gold has withstood war, famine, and economic downturns. It's been a stalwart hedge against inflation and hyperinflation. And the company I, Buck Sexton, trust to help you diversify into gold is Birch Gold Group. For 2 decades, Birch Gold has helped concerned Americans convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, you can trust Birch Gold, too.
To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 and get a free, no-obligation info kit on gold. Again, text SECURE to the number 989898 to protect your hard-earned savings today.
During baseball season, hit a home run with a patio door that opens and closes smoothly. Hi, this is Terry Lodwick, owner of All American Window and Door. With backyard barbecues in full swing, now is the time to replace your old, worn-out patio door. Visit our showroom and take a test glide. We'll have you sliding into one heck of a steal. No matter your need, help is on deck with your veteran hometown team. All American Window and Door on Mequon Road in Germantown. 262-255-7170. Estimates are free.
Talk radio, redefined.
I'ma do my own thing.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
I decided that I gotta do my own thing. I just gotta do my own thing. Do my own thing.
We do our own thing each and every day here. It's Talk Radio Redefined, and that goes right down to your humble hosts. 4th of July Fit. Check it out, streaming live at the Dan O'Cam on X at Dan O'Donnell Show, Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show, or on YouTube. It also extends to our programming. Look, folks, coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, we know that there's this idea in our heads that America's best days are behind it. They're not. In fact, in every possible way, militarily, economically, culturally, athletically, America is still the greatest place on earth, and I can objectively prove it. I'll do so coming up after the 10 o'clock news. Right now, though, we check in with the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Michael Watley. Chairman Watley, thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to the Dan O'Donnell Show. With the RNC less than 2 weeks away, sir, have you slept in the last month?
You know, we haven't slept a lot. This is a very exciting time. I think between the debate and now we've got the convention coming up. This is really it's starting to get to go time. And you know, as hard as we work, we're not going to outwork the president. President Trump is out there every single day just continuing to fight for the American people.
Okay, when you said you're not going to outwork the president, for a millisecond there, I thought you meant Biden. And I thought, you know, I know Watley's working more than 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. each day.
Yeah, look, I think that, you know, what we're seeing right now on the Democratic side of the aisle is a true reckoning for a president who has mailed it in. You know, he put a number of people in place to implement really, truly liberal, progressive policies, and then leaves it to them and wanders off, and America is suffering for it. You know, you think about where we are today. He's unleashed inflation. He has unleashed the invasion of our southern border. He has left us in a significantly weaker place all across the world. and it is time to have that reckoning and that conversation about what America needs to get ourselves out of the ditch that he's driven us into.
Are you, as the head of the RNC, preparing for President Biden to be the Democrats' candidate or not? And if not, who would be the most logical replacement?
Look, we don't care who the Democratic nominee is right now, because if it's Joe Biden, we know all he's going to do is double down on his failed policies from the last 4 years. And then if it's anybody else, they're just going to adopt the same policies. They're going to adopt the same platform. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit our marks. We're going to run our race. Donald Trump is going to be out there in every battleground state, including Wisconsin, and he's going to be talking to every American voter about his plan to make America great again, which really starts with, restoring our southern border, restoring our economy, and restoring our place in the world.
Okay, but come on. It's got to be easier to run against a candidate who's got obvious signs of dementia or some other form of cognitive decline, right?
Look, I think that, what we saw in that debate, and I'm not going to deny that President Biden had a very, very, very bad night, because he did, right? But what we also saw was Donald Trump hit his marks. He was able to, during his time, defend his record, his 4 years in the White House. He was able to lay out his vision for the next 4 years, and he was able to put up a contrast between him and Joe Biden that everybody saw, right? And if we have to go into a conversation about why he's better than Kamala Harris, or why he's better than Gavin Newsom or Gretchen Whitmer or anybody else, it's going to come down to the same fundamentals. Donald Trump cares about American families. Donald Trump has a plan to restore American greatness, and we're going to continue to punch every day on that.
Are the past 6 days the quietest Donald Trump has ever been since you've known him?
I'll tell you, it's very interesting to see, and from the Democratic side of the aisle, it's the least attacks that we've had on the president in a 6-day period for the last 8 years as well, because they've certainly, turned around on themselves, to see, the leaking that's coming out of the White House over the last little bit, all of the different conversations that are coming from across the Democratic Party. It is really fascinating to kind of see what happens. But look, what we saw at the debate was Donald Trump being very disciplined. What we have seen over the last 6 months of him on the road this year has been Donald Trump being very disciplined. Mm-hmm. And so, over the last 6 days, he's been absolutely disciplined.
Okay, but level with me. Do you have him tied up and gagged somewhere so he can't go out and hold a rally and say something? Have you stolen his phone, Chairman Watley?
Look, no, I think we want him on the phone. We want him talking to people all across the country. We want him to continue to be aggressive, pushing out the way that he needs to be pushing out there. I know he is getting ready for the convention. Just what we're doing right now is getting ready to come into Milwaukee and roll out Donald Trump's vision for the next 4 years. We're so excited. I mean, 50,000 delegates, guests and media members that are going to be rolling into Milwaukee, and a chance for us to really truly have a stage show and a TV production that are really going to be worthy of his vision for America and the world. We're pretty excited about that.
Any hints as to who the keynote speaker or running mate are going to be?
Well, I think, when you talk about the keynote speaker, that's obviously going to be Thursday night when the president accepts his nomination. But, no, I think that, the president is keeping very close hold in terms of his decision-making process. I've told everybody that I feel very comfortable that decision is going to be announced somewhere between today and July 15th when we kick off the convention. And that is going to be a decision made by the president and announced on his timeline.
So what you're saying is Burgum.
What I'm saying is the president is going to make that decision on his time. And look, the thing that's so great about my position right now is any of the people that have been discussed, any of the people that the president is going to look at are better than Kamala Harris, and they're better than anybody else on the Democratic bench. You know, we have such a strong team right now of people that are all across America that represent America. You know, they talk about Republicans being the party of old white men. We'll take the jokes about Joe Biden aside. But look at people like Vivek Ramaswamy. Look at people like Tim Scott. Look at people, you know, that we've got, Elise Stefanik. I mean, we have Republican leaders from every background. We have Republican leaders from every corner of the country that are focused on making sure that America is going to be great again. And we really are very excited about what we're going into with the convention.
Yeah, it really does seem like this year, far more than in 2020 and 2016, when Trump was clearly the head of a conservative populist movement, where I do believe, and I've always firmly believed this, Chairman, the vast majority of Americans of all races, of all genders, of all demographic groups subscribes. We are a fundamentally conservative nation. We believe in freedom. We believe in prosperity. We believe in capitalism. We believe in family. We believe in community. But it really seems like this year, and it's reflected in the polls with President Trump doing so well again amongst non-traditional Republican groups like Black people and Latinos. But it really feels like Trump, in a very real way, is uniting all parts of the country.
Could not agree more. And he, you know, first step was to unite the Republican Party, which he did. He cleared the primary earlier than anybody has ever cleared a contested primary in our party's history. And we're seeing the entire country coming together behind him. You know, and when you think about it, people are asking me, you know, why are Black voters, Hispanic voters, Asian American voters coming across the way that they are? Well, you know what? Joe Biden's policies are drilling their families. Joe Biden's policies, you know, are the inflation that he has unleashed, the invasion at the southern border, the fentanyl invasion that we have seen, that has affected every American family. And it doesn't matter whether you're rural or you're urban or you're suburban. It doesn't matter whether you're Black or Hispanic or white. It is affecting you the same way. And that's why we're seeing, you know, President Trump, who is such a good communicator, and he's talking to every American family. You know, the fact that he's willing to go do an event in downtown Philadelphia, the fact that he held a rally in the Bronx, you know, he had 100,000 people show up in New Jersey. You know, he's actually working to get out there and talk to these communities that traditionally have not voted Republican. And I think that's at least in part because Republicans have not traditionally gone out and spoken to these communities.
Yeah, I think there is a real emphasis that's paying off on saying, hey, look, we are not taking any vote in any part of the country for granted. This is why you're seeing President Trump so competitive in Virginia, for example, a place that nobody thought at the beginning of even this year would be competitive. It's because he's going in there day after the debate, and lo and behold, leaked internal Democratic polling shows he's up, and up by a couple of points. Chairman Watley, thank you so much. I know you've got an incredibly busy schedule between now and the 15th. Thank you for joining us, and I really look forward to meeting you in person in Milwaukee.
Yeah, listen, I can't wait to get up there. I'm gonna be flying up Sunday and making sure all the setup is going very well. And we really appreciate, you know, you and all your viewers or your listeners. And we're looking forward to, you know, being able to carry Wisconsin as we go into this big win in November.
I'll see you at the opening party at the Summerfest grounds. How about that?
That sounds perfect. Thanks, sir.
All right. Have a wonderful 4th of July, Chairman Michael Watley of the Republican National Committee. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. And coming up next, we name the Unhinged Liberal of the Day.
Follow Dan at Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show.
More of the show next.
Hey, Sean Hannity here, talking with the only real estate agent in your market I recommend, Justin Hoffman with RE/MAX Lakeside. What programs or options do you have to help home sellers get what they want in today's market?
Sean, we've literally designed our entire business model around what sellers want. It starts with our guaranteed sale. We agree with a price, we agree on a deadline, and if we don't have it sold for the money the seller wants at the time frame they need, we step in and buy it for cash. We also offer instant offer. We come in, eliminate the marketing time, buy the property as is for cash, and close at whatever deadline or time frame the seller wants. We couple those two programs with our famous cancelable contract, whereas if you are not happy with what we're doing on the sales side of your property, you can fire us at any time and pay nothing.
Just go to wihomeeval.com. That's wihomeeval.com. Or just Google Team Hoffman and check out over 700 5-star reviews.
This is the summer of Bartesian, the premium cocktail maker that crafts over 60 seasonal and premium cocktails, all with natural juices and real artisan bitters. At the push of a button, it's cocktail time in under 30 seconds. Visit your local Walmart to try a cocktail and experience our most compact cocktail machine, the Bartesian Duet, in action. And pick one up at our best price, just $250 at Walmart or on bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Our home sure feels empty now that the kids are gone. Maybe it's time to start thinking about a new home in a size that fits our life. With Belinsky Condos, we'll get peace of mind without sacrificing amenities. Plus, accessibility features like the no-step garage entry and wide hallways allow us to live comfortably. Today and 10 years from now. Visit Belinsky.com to learn more.
Frank Daniels, our Madison goldsmith, has an idea.
Bring him in.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Sarah. Hi, Monica.
It's great to see you, Frank. What's your idea?
It's a new company policy.
Let's hear it.
You know the world-famous Kessler's warranty?
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Every time I hear that warranty, it blows my mind.
I propose we have a jewelry cleaning policy that's as amazing as that warranty.
What would it say?
Bring us your jewelry and we will professionally clean it. While you wait, for free. You can come in as often as you want, and we don't care where you bought your jewelry. The only thing that matters is that you want it to look amazing again. We want that too.
I vote yes.
I vote yes. I vote yes. The motion carries.
Congratulations, Frank. Your idea is now company policy.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
When it comes to auto repairs, there aren't that many pleasant surprises for us as car owners, are there? That's why I love hearing stories about the honest and talented folks at Engine and Transmission Exchange. Frank says we took one of our Sprinter vans to another repair shop that would have charged us over $4,000. ETE found there was nothing needed and charged an inspection fee, and that's it. That's our first time using ETE, he says, but they'll get all of our future business. Jay wanted a second opinion on his Subaru when another mechanic was suggesting $2,000 worth of transmission work. I was surprised when Jeff called and said they found the issue and could service same day for $146. Those are stories of dramatic savings because Vince and his crews at ETE run honest shops. That's why I and many of you have come to love Engine and Transmission Exchange. All of your work will be done by ASC certified technicians. They'll only do what needs to be done, and they'll do it right. With locations on South 27th Street in Milwaukee and West Avenue in Waukesha, check out EngineTrans.com. EngineTrans.com. It's Engine and Transmission Exchange.
Infinity's app shows precise costs of your new roof, providing peace of mind.
Infinity costs less, and the price we quote is surprise-free.
Because we pay less, you pay less. Warranted, guaranteed quality.
Installing peace of mind. InfinityRoofing.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
is the Dan O'Donnell Show, a tour de force of truth, the sort of truth the rest of the media ignores, if not outright covers up. It's been remarkably revealing just how much gets covered up, and I sincerely hope that the entire episode of Biden being obviously cognitively compromised for the past several years. I mean, this is not something, nobody should be surprised by this. The only reason people are is because the media has dutifully done its job in service of the Democratic Party. They do not report things that would embarrass or make it more difficult for Democrats to win. Their job is not to inform you. Their job is to keep the truth from you if the truth would hurt their cause. Which brings us to today's unhinged liberal of the day.
Make me crazy.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
Make me crazy.
All white people are racist.
Does that make me crazy?
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is one Carl Bernstein, who has apparently forgotten for the past year that he's Carl Bernstein of, Woodward and Bernstein. He's had reporting for at least a year that 15 different Biden aides have noticed obvious signs of dementia or some other form of cognitive decline, but Bernstein has admitted over the past several days that he just sort of sat on that information. Why? Well, he doesn't explain, but the reasoning is rather obvious, because it wasn't politically convenient for Democrats to release that information until now at this exact moment. Cover of the New York Post today. Now they tell us no one is more condemnable or contemptible in doing that than Carl Bernstein. Who would have guessed after 50 years that he would be siding with President Nixon? Carl Bernstein, your unhinged liberal of the day. I often wonder how Watergate would have been reported even back then if it was a Democrat president, because they dutifully covered up President John F. Kennedy's many dalliances. They dutifully covered up President FDR's infirmity, physical infirmity, not mental, although FDR was dying shortly after running for re-election. And there was significant controversy, even in the middle of or towards the tail end of World War II. Remember, the election happened. The election happened right after the D-Day invasion, correct? 1944 was the presidential election. And there was reporting at the time that, hey, maybe FDR shouldn't run for another term, but this was sort of swept aside. Harry Truman wasn't particularly popular, and wouldn't you know it, FDR was dead within the next several months. He was literally dying while running for president. Yeah, very good, producer Dave. April of 1945. You do not remember the date. How do you remember it was April 12th? No, I don't doubt you. You are great at history. How do you remember that specifically? He looked it up. He absolutely. While I was talking about FDR dying, he surreptitiously Googled FDR death. That's pretty good, though. Yeah. Within a couple of months of him being inaugurated for his fourth term, he was dead. And the media, in large measure because it would have been a propaganda boon for America's enemies in the Second Great War, covered it up. There was no excuse for covering up John F. Kennedy. Whoa, it was his personal life. Oh, give me a break. And even when President Reagan was suffering from Alzheimer's disease after leaving the presidency in the 1980s, the media was all over. Well, he's declining. Nancy Reagan is secretly running the country. 2024, where we know more about every other human being than at any point in human history, there's no reporting on what everybody can see. And in fact, we're saying, oh no, behind closed doors, he's doing cartwheels while reciting the collective works of Shakespeare. Come on. A tribute to America, still the greatest country on planet Earth. Coming up next here on the Dan O'Donnell Show.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Accusations of disruptive behavior by observers at polling places in Glendale yesterday happened during voting for the special election primary between Democratic State Representative Dora Drake and Lakeisha Myers in the 4th State Senate District. Glendale Mayor Brian Kennedy said the observers were challenging every absentee ballot that poll workers were trying to process. Glendale police said in a statement they were called to 2 polling locations following reports of disruptive observers, and they said a woman at one site and a man at another agreed to leave voluntarily. No arrests were made. A home in Walworth County was destroyed after an explosion there. When crews arrived to respond to the blast in the town of Lafayette near Elkhorn yesterday, found a small fire in the basement. Elkhorn Fire Chief Trent Eichmann tells Fox 6 Milwaukee they also heard a man buried in the rubble down there.
They did hear a voice, and they established contact with the patient. Probably took approximately 35 to 40 minutes to tunnel and extricate him out of the basement.
The man was taken by flight for life to a hospital for treatment. There's no word on his condition. Investigators say they don't know the cause of the explosion, though they think propane had something to do with it. Hurricane Beryl continues to churn across the Caribbean. The National Hurricane Center in Miami said Beryl is at Category 4 strength with 145-mile-per-hour winds. The storm's expected to bring life-threatening winds and storm surge to Jamaica today. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Brewers and Colorado Rockies meet up again tonight in Denver. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen on Wisconsin's most listened to radio station, News Talk 1130 WISN.
Dan O'Donnell here for the incredible team at Mander Collision and Glass, now with 6 locations to serve you. And you hear me talk about my great experiences with Mander all the time. Here's David. I had a chip in my windshield of my 2009 Chevy Malibu repaired today. Scheduling was a breeze. Staff was great. I was in and out in under half an hour. That's the Mander difference for you. Quick, professional work with customer service that's second to none. They treat you as a valued member of the family and not just a number like some of the big national chains. It's service that you can only get with a third-generation family business, and that's why I've been using Mander Collision and Glass for so many years, and so many listeners are now discovering and have discovered the Mander difference too. You can check them out at any one of their great locations, Cedarburg, Brookfield, Heartland, Milwaukee, Muskego, or Waukesha, and start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
WISN. Cheer on the USA and listen to iHeartRadio, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
A few morning showers, then we should clear out to partly sunny skies this afternoon. Hot and humid, high near 88. Overnight tonight will drop down to 70, and from there up to the 80s again for tomorrow, with the rain returning by late evening. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Pearl's California-grown black ripe olives.
Martha Quinn here. It's time to rock Pearl's 100% California-grown black ripe olives. Now better than ever, Pearl's black ripe olives have nothing added but sea salt and water. No artificial colors or preservatives. For quality you can trust, look for this sunny yellow can at your local grocery store.
Are you ready to celebrate the warmer weather? Then check out the Sawmill Restaurant and Pub in Richfield. Their home-style meals are worthy of any celebration. Just take the Holy Hill exit from 41, turn west, and then turn right on Wolf Road. It's just after the railroad track. It's a great place to share with friends at any time.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, and I'm so proud to be a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and an American. My wife Amy and I did our best to educate our children about our reasons for embracing traditional values. Recently, Amy and I became empty nesters, and now our young adults are in the real world with the American dream in their heads, their hearts, and soon it will be in their hands to share with others. God is good, good. Marriage and children are a blessing. Capitalism works, and America is grand. She is rich with beautiful places to explore. She's a melting pot of beautiful people. Diverse? Yes. But we are still blessed to have so much in common. Ignore the politicians and the media who sow seeds of hate. Let's embrace the wonders of life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness in America. Join me in discovering the wonders of nature and the wonders of America.
This is Michael Lynch from Lynch Truck Center. For the first time ever, Lynch Truck Center is having a massive construction sale on over 400 in-stock trucks, which include Chevrolet, GMC, Hino, and Isuzu. You will not want to miss it. We're adding parking, 7 more truck bays, and expanded parts storage, so we can better serve you, our customer. Did you know our experienced sales staff sold more Chevrolet medium-duty trucks and cabovers than all the other dealers in the state combined? With their knowledge on upfits, combined with our service department, we deliver turnkey vehicles for your business, including the right body for your application, bin packages, and even lettered when it's delivered right to your door. As a business owner, has managing your fleet grown into a full-time job? Our fleet department can help. We provide a free fleet analysis which guides you when to trade, help track expenses for maintenance, fuel, and even vehicle tracking. You'll be shocked on the money and time you can save, not to mention having new vehicles under warranty. Visit LynchTruckCenter.com and give us a shot. We won't disappoint you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
News Talk 1130 WISN. Be sure to listen to the Annex Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. Annex provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Smart speakers get a whole lot smarter when they're playing News Talk 1130 WISN. Just ask Alexa or Siri to play WISN Radio and bask in the glow of insight and enlightenment.
Of July edition of the Dan O'Donnell Show. We obviously have a whole lot of news to get to as the narrative has now fully shifted back to where it was the night of the presidential debate, that Biden needs to drop out. Democrats are in full panic mode. For a couple of days, they were trying to say, well, it was just a cold. The latest excuse coming from the Biden camp is that it was jet lag. Jet lag. He had 7 days of debate prep. And by the way, did you see First Lady Macbeth, Jill Biden, clapped at Ron Klain, one of Biden's closest advisors? She blamed him for poor debate prep. Klain's clapback, as the kids say, was even fiercer. Biden's debate prep, according to, quote, unnamed sources leaking to the media, but everybody knows it was Ron Klain. Biden's debate prep didn't start until 11 a.m. each day, and they needed to break for an afternoon nap. Yikes. If you would like to join the Dan O'Donnell Show, 414-799-1130 is our AdventNews.com talk and text line. Reach me toll free, 1-800-838-9476. Email me directly, DOD@iHeartMedia.com. You want to see the 4th of July fit? My special red, white, and blue Salute to America suit. Check out the live stream via the DanoCam at X at Dan O'Donnell Show there. While you're there, follow me, give the live stream a retweet, give it a heart, a like. Nobody can see it. Apparently likes are private now. Facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Please do share the live stream. Follow me there and follow me on YouTube. Just search for Dan O'Donnell or Dan O'Donnell Show. You know how you can tell the narrative is starting to calcify, that Biden can't win, combined with the reality setting in that, look, a fantasy football style trade where we just swap out Joe Biden, you send him to the waiver wire and pick up Gavin Newsom via free agency. It's not going to work. That's just as that doesn't work in real football, where you can just pick up a starting wide receiver off the scrap heap whenever you need one because of a bye week. You can't just swap out a candidate. Biden is sitting on a massive, massive war chest, and there is only one candidate who has a realistic shot of getting that money per FEC rules and who would still enjoy the same basic campaign infrastructure, and that's Kamala Harris. Now, wouldn't you know it, the narrative is starting to shift in favor of Kamala being totally ready to take on this top spot on the campaign. Here's a montage we put together.
So many of the different aspects of the Democratic coalition would be super excited about a Kamala Harris run.
This party should not in any way do anything to work around Ms. Harris. We should do everything we can to bolster her, whether it's in second place or at the top of the ticket.
I mean, she's prepared. She's been our vice president. Who else?
Congresswoman Barbara Lee, Congressman James Clyburn, who is perhaps out of any human being most responsible for Biden being the Democrat nominee in 2020 by saving him in South Carolina, and also Congressman Tim Ryan, all saying Kamala Harris can be and probably should be the nominee. So they've already got a replacement ready to go. The only problem is Kamala is terrible. If she was even remotely competent, if she was even remotely likable, she would have actually made it to the Iowa caucuses in 2020. She dropped out a few weeks beforehand because she got no traction whatsoever. But if she did her job well, if Democrats actually liked her or thought she could possibly win, we wouldn't be having this discussion. There would have been calls. The narrative would have shifted in 2023 before Biden announced that he was running for re-election, and she would have been the candidate. Remember, Biden ran in 2020 on an implicit promise that he actually made explicit multiple times, that he's going to be the transition to the new generation of leaders. Well, unfortunately, that new generation is crazy. But even before the debate, make no mistake, the Democrats were in deep, deep trouble, primarily because of illegal immigration, the hordes of people who are totally unvetted being led into the United States, and a fraction of them, but still a sizable number, are committing heinous crimes, including murdering innocent Americans. That's ticked the American public off, and I believe more than any other issue has angered Americans. But the one that they're going to vote on is the obvious. We can no longer afford what we did easily under Donald Trump. And of course, that extends to 4th of July barbecues.
From burgers to buns, the cost of barbecue food prices has increased.
Prices are skyrocketing and groceries are, almost unaffordable.
Making 2024 one of the most expensive years for a 4th of July meal.
Big price increase on a lot of the major groceries that I buy. So it's up there. It's high.
The 2024 Rabobank Barbecue Index shows that hosting a 10-person barbecue will cost about $99 this year, the highest on record. It's a 32% increase in barbecue costs since 2019.
Juices, water, some meats, just like staple items. And breads, too. Breads are very high.
According to that same report, prices have increased due to several factors, including overall food inflation, labor costs, and supply chain issues.
Yeah, and there's also a big one that we sort of forgot. That would be the massive $1 trillion stimulus and associated handouts that President Biden gave at the beginning of his term that even Democrat economists now concede were the, quote, original sin of inflation. This is beyond dispute. It would have already been an uphill climb for Biden, or I dare say any Democrat, to win in this environment, even with a quote-unquote convicted felon at the top of the ticket for the Republican Party. I think, and the reason that you're seeing such histrionics, or you did see such histrionics over the Supreme Court's immunity decision, was because this sort of put the final nail, I think Democrats realized, in the lawfare against President Trump. And by the way, this is the subject of my latest column at the McIver Institute, McIverInstitute.com. It's all about how the fears of what Trump might do are totally overblown. And I can actually prove that because everything they're saying Trump might do, right? We spent an entire news cycle saying Trump would bomb innocent American civilians. President Obama actually did that 13 years ago. And even though the Supreme Court didn't give him absolute immunity for official acts of his presidency, did anyone ever, anywhere, think about prosecuting Barack Obama for the drone strike attack that killed 16-year-old Abdul Rahman al-Awlaki? Of course not. But now that's the sum of all Democrat fears, that Trump could assassinate a political rival, an American citizen, using a Predator drone or SEAL Team 6. Oh, wait, Obama actually used SEAL Team 6 to assassinate somebody, too. Does anybody realistically think, let's just say for the sake of arguments, Osama bin Laden was like Anwar al-Awlaki, who was also killed in a drone strike. Let's say bin Laden was an American citizen, okay? Let's say he wasn't Saudi. Let's say he spent a lot of time in America and he got his American citizenship. Does anyone think that taking out Osama bin Laden would have been a prosecutable offense by the president? Of course not. My latest column, When Liberals' Worst Fears Came True, is up now at McIverInstitute.com. The reason for the histrionics over this, the massive reason for the histrionics, are because Democrats understand that the lawfare has failed, that everything they've tried to do isn't actually working. Coming up in just a second, as promised, a salute to America. I can prove, I dove into the statistics, I did the research, and I can prove that America is objectively the greatest place on earth. First, we have got a caller, Pete, who actually, this is how interactive we are here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. I happened to see, while we were playing that audio soundbite of the news report, I believe that was Channel 3 in New York, going on about Biden's inflation problem and how that's impacting your 4th of July barbecue, Pete came out on Facebook and said, Dan is afraid to take phone callers who don't agree with him. Genuinely, try for yourself. Call the show and say you don't agree with Dan on something and see if they put you on the air. All caps. He lives in an echo chamber. Pete, you are on the air. As I responded on Facebook, Pete, we actually put you on immediately. Call in. And then I gave the phone number. Here you are, Pete. How you doing today? Happy early 4th of July.
Well, it's not Pete. It's actually Bobby Brands, and I found my way on the air once again, man.
Bobby Brands, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. I see that you took my advice. You went with a loud suit. You're trying to make the aesthetic look a little bit better, but you're hitting below the Mendoza line on viewers here.
Actually, Bobby, hey, can I ask you something? Since you openly admitted on X that it's impossible to afford even a toothbrush where you really live in Vancouver, do you think you should be giving me advice on anything having to do with making money or doing a career?
Well, that's cool that you went and did so much research on me.
No, I'm serious. You literally posted a couple weeks ago you can't afford a toothbrush in Vancouver. But you're going to go and do your comedy bit where you actually call conservative talk show hosts. You actually have a nice little YouTube channel where you call conservative talk show hosts and try to mess with their shows. But I just find it hilarious that a lot of your tweets under your actual name, you complain about not being successful and poor, but your career, or your alter ego, I should say, is like pretending that you're this great marketing genius. Do you think you should find a new shtick?
Dan, so I never said anything about being poor. I'm speaking of the cost of living where I live in Vancouver, which is the city in North America.
So you think, wait, hold on. Vancouver, which has been under the control of liberal city leaders and a liberal national government probably for as long as, my gosh, I'm going to go back to Pierre Trudeau, for goodness sakes. Don't you think you might want to rethink your political affiliation? Maybe you should start pranking liberal talk shows, Bobby.
You don't understand. You don't know Canadian history. You got that all wrong. But yes. You don't have any of those facts,
that notorious right-wing country, Canada. You bet.
What are you talking about? Stephen Harper was a conservative leader in power for most of my life.
And how long has Justin Trudeau been in power? Who would be most responsible? Who would be most responsible for you not being able to afford a toothbrush? I'll tell you what, Bobby. As much as I would love to continue to talk to you, a Canadian, this show is all about America. Good luck being able to afford your necessities in your liberal state. I was in Vancouver last summer. It is an absolutely gorgeous city. If you get a chance to visit Vancouver, beautiful, right on the sea, just remarkably clean, wonderful architecture, a ton of stuff to do, vibrant nightlife. I could not recommend Vancouver highly enough. Might be a little too expensive for Bobby to live in, but I do appreciate his efforts to give other people advice. Maybe it's like, do what I don't. As much as I'd like to continue talking to Canadians, this show is all about America, why America is number one, and how I can prove it. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. Happy early 4th, everybody.
Keep in touch with Dan on Twitter at Dan O'Donnell Show. More of the show is next.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Coming back to Las Vegas, September 20th and 21st. Streaming live only on Hulu.
A weekend full of superstar performances.
Tickets are on sale now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of the 2024 iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Champagne's not as cheap as ginger ale, and you can't buy caviar for the same price as candy. But right now, you can buy the highest-end Beautyrest Black and Tempur-Pedic mattresses for nowhere near their highest-end prices. Hassellus Mattress is clearing out a handful of premium floor models. These mattresses are the best, and you can get them for way less. Like the Split King Tempur-Pedic Luxe Breeze in softer firm was $10,198, now just $25,448. Or the Queen Beautyrest Black L-Class firm was $26,99, but the floor model is just $13,49. Plus, save with massive markdowns on adjustable bases, starting at $287. It's like buying a Rolls Royce for $10,000 just because it sat on the showroom floor. Selection is limited. Only a few floor models are available at each Hassellus location, and when they're gone for good. Find a self-service, employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
It's Mike from Milwaukee Lawn Sprinkler. We're celebrating 50 years in the irrigation business. Join my son Paul and I this Saturday on the remodeling show to discuss your next irrigation project. Enjoy summer. We'll do the watering. Visit MilwaukeeLawnSprinkler.com.
Warshawski's Victor Harding, Best Lawyers Product Liability Attorney of the Year, achieves maximum compensation.
Best Lawyers Complex Litigation Lawyer of the Year, Warshawski's Frank Cravello, achieves maximum injury compensation.
Injured?
It is about the money.
Warshawski.com.
If you had $1 million in 2009, today it will be worth less than $700,000. That's the effect of out-of-control government spending shrinking your hard-earned dollars, and it's why central banks and savvy investors are buying gold. For thousands of years, gold has withstood war, famine, and economic downturns. It's been a stalwart hedge against inflation and hyperinflation. And the company I, Buck Sexton, trust to help you diversify into gold is Birch Gold Group. For 2 decades, Birch Gold has helped concerned Americans convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, you can trust Birch Gold, too.
To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 and get a free, no-obligation info kit on gold. Again, text SECURE to the number 989898 to protect your hard-earned savings today.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Something tells me Bobby Brands isn't going to be posting that one on his YouTube channel. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what I always tell people. No matter what the debate is, no matter what you're talking, always make sure that you know more than your opponent. You know who actually realized it was the YouTube prankster immediately? And I got to give credit. It was producer Dave who recognized his voice and hung up on him immediately. And then I actually told him, I'm like, nope. We actually do this on the Dan O'Donnell Show. It is a thing. If you're going to be a Twitter tough guy, I will ask you, come on and debate. I actually, believe it or not, love debate. I live in an echo chamber. Give me a break. At one point, I was offering to Venmo $50 for any left-winger who would dare to come on and debate me, and nobody would. I am dead serious. The offer still stands. If you actually have a substantive debate, if you actually have something substantive to say, I would love to hear it. The problem is, okay, who do you think would be one of the absolute best debaters in the entire country? Obviously, someone who's trained in the law, because this is essentially what the law is. It's argument, it's debate, it's, who is considered one of the leading lights in left-wing or progressive law. Got to be a Supreme Court justice, right? Who is the wisest of the Supreme Court justices on the left? I would think it's the wise Latina, Sonia Sotomayor. When this is the extent of her argument against the majority's decision in Trump v. United States, the immunity decision, you know the left doesn't really know how to debate. When a president uses his official powers in any way under the majority's reasoning, he now will be insulated from criminal prosecution. Orders the Navy's SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival? Immune. Organizes a military coup to hold on to power? Immune. Takes a bribe in exchange for a pardon? Immune, 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 immune. Put simply, that is insane. Insane, insane, insane. None of those are official acts, and I think she knows it. But she's being disingenuous about it. It is the day before the 4th of July, and I'm feeling patriotic, as I hope you are too. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time now for the Dan O'Donnell Show's salute to the greatest country on earth. It seems like we're constantly bombarded with the notion that America isn't really that great. Or maybe it never was, that its best days are behind it. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Economically, militarily, intellectually, athletically, and culturally, America is the greatest nation in the world, and I can prove it. First, the United States has by far the largest economy in the world. The U.S. dollar is the world's reserve currency, making it the world's most valuable money. The U.S. Stock Exchange is also the world's largest, with a market capitalization of $26 trillion. In part because of that, and in part because of America's entrepreneurial nature, this nation also has by far the most millionaires, with a staggering 24.5 million of them in this country. To put that into perspective, if those American millionaires were their own country, there would only be 56 nations on Earth with a larger total population. There are more millionaires in the United States than there are total people in Ireland, New Zealand, Norway, and Singapore combined. But Americans aren't greedy. We're also the most generous people in the entire world, giving a stunning $500 billion a year, every year, to charity. According to the World Giving Index, 60% of all Americans give to charity, with an average donation of about $574. Not only that, every year, 42% of Americans give their time in volunteer work, and 72% of Americans help strangers in need. In terms of military might, there's no contest. According to annual rankings from Global Firepower, the U.S. military is the most powerful fighting force on planet Earth. And with $886 billion in annual funding, it is also the best equipped. But America isn't just the best at killing people, it's also the best at healing people and caring for them, spending more total and more per capita on healthcare for its citizens than any other nation. America is also far and away the world's leader in medical research and development, spending nearly 4 times more on it per year than the next closest country. That's led to countless innovations, which is par for the course for a nation that's also the world's leader in cutting-edge technology, spending far and away the most of any country in the development of artificial intelligence and robotics. America also leads the world in space exploration, spending roughly double the amount spent by the next closest country. In fact, the United States accounts for a full 40% of the world's total space funding. It should therefore come as no surprise that Americans have won the most Nobel Prizes, with more than 400. 40% of all Nobel Prizes ever awarded were awarded to Americans. They typically are educated at American universities, which dominate the world university rankings, in which 16 of the world's top 25 colleges are in, you guessed it, the United States. We also have the best transportation in the world, with the largest network of roads on the planet at 4.3 million miles, the longest rail network in the world at 155,000 miles, and the most commercial airline passengers each year at more than 665 million. Should it be any surprise, then, that America is also the largest oil producer in the world? Not to mention the world's top source of natural gas and nuclear power as well. But it's not just the American economy, military, and technology that are the best in the world. America's culture is also by far the most globally pervasive. The American media market is easily the biggest, with an estimated $500 billion in annual revenue. American films are the biggest hits at the global box office every year, and American music is the most listened to in the world. Athletically, too, America is the best, winning more Olympic gold medals and more total Olympic medals than any other nation. It's also hosted the Olympics 9 times, by far the most of any country. But the truest test of the best country is which one the most people want to live in. And unsurprisingly, that's the United States. According to the World Migration Report, America is the biggest recipient of both legal and illegal immigrants and has been since 1970. People come from across the world, often leaving everything behind and risking everything they have to get to a nation that they know is the greatest place on earth. And now, you know it too. Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. Over the last 75 years, the Lynch family has understood the value of a relationship with their own customers, their employees, and also their community. That's just one of the reasons they've been awarded a Top Workplace Award for the 5th consecutive year. Happy employees provide top-level service, and if you're tired of the same old car buying experience and want to be treated like family, let them show you the Lynch difference. With Lynch Certified, every qualified vehicle comes with peace of mind in the form of a 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty. Lynch Protected covers your windshield, road hazards, and paint for 1 year. With locations in Burlington, Kenosha, West Bend, and 3 stores in the McWanago community, Lynch is easy and convenient to find. Come and get treated like family and experience the Lynch difference, or find them online at shoplynch.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
This is the summer of Bartesian, the premium cocktail maker that crafts over 60 seasonal and premium cocktails, all with natural juices and real artisan bitters. At the push of a button, it's cocktail time in under 30 seconds. Whether you want to make your favorites or explore new cocktails, Bartesian has the perfect system to get your happy hours started. To save up to $50 on starter kit bundles, visit bartesian.com/cocktail. That's BARTESIAN.com/cocktail.
Dan O'Donnell here. It's This Week with Annex Wealth Management. I'm joined by the president of Annex, Dave Spano, and presidential politics again in the spotlight this Independence Day week, Dave, because the dynamics of the race between Donald Trump and Joe Biden after the first presidential debate seem to have fundamentally shifted dramatically in Trump's favor.
There's no doubt about that. In the last 100 years, Dan, the presidential election years generally are up on average 7.5%. And through the midpoint of this year, we're up 15%. But this is not a typical cycle. You think about the economy is good, unemployment is relatively on track, and earnings in the S&P 500 are headed positive. But this is atypical. First of all, we don't even know who the candidates are for sure at this point. And so you look at, could we have a market correction over the next 90 days? Will there be some news that we don't know? And that's the reason why, folks, as you think about this, you have to think about what is in your portfolio. Will there be a Trump portfolio, for example, that starts to do better? And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see, for example, global warming stocks, EV stocks, so on and so forth. Those are not doing well. But deregulation stocks, especially after the most recent Chevron case, deregulation stocks are doing better. Tariff stocks, things that are coming from Mexico and China, not doing well. Let's watch what happens over the next number of days. Make sure that you don't invest your politics, but they are set up to take advantage of all the news that we're going to see over the next 90 days.
And I can guarantee you it's going to be a ton of news. That's why you need to head to annexwealth.com, get a review of your portfolio. For Dave Spano, president of Annex, I'm Dan O'Donnell. This has been This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
Save big money on everything for your next project today at Menards. Transform your home in one weekend with exterior stain and sealer from Dutch Boy. It provides one-coat protection on decks, fences, siding, and outdoor furniture, and repels rain in just 4 hours after application. That means quicker results, saving you both time and money. Menards, ranked number 1 in customer satisfaction among home improvement retailers, according to J.D. Power. For more information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
Save big money at Menards.
Boness Brookfield MediSpa's regenerative aesthetic therapies stimulate your own tissues, your own cells to rejuvenate your own skin, providing incredibly natural-looking results that continue to repair, restore, and improve your skin over time. Your body, your life, your skin. Love it. drboness.com.
Hey, you confused about real estate? Sean Hannity here, and I can tell you as an active real estate investor, real estate doesn't have to be frustrating or scary. I called Justin Hoffman of RE/MAX Realty Pros. Google Team Hoffman and check out over 500 five-star reviews.
Buying a home should be a joy, but could you imagine doing this without a realtor? Paperwork, inspections, appraisals, deadlines, showings, market research? Or you could relax. Or understanding legal documents, negotiating offers, coordinating inspections, securing financing. Oh, sorry. A realtor can take the stress out of the home buying process. See how at wra.org/a-realtor-can. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Realtors Association.
Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
This is Dan O'Donnell for my friends at Bayview Shade and Blind, proudly serving Southeast Wisconsin for nearly 100 years. The mission and values of Bayview Shade and Blind have stayed the same: character, honesty, integrity, and the golden rule. It's how the company has been built, and that will never change. They offer a free personal in-home design consultation or invite you to visit one of their 2 galleries in Menominee Falls or Waukesha. Check them out at bayviewshade.com, sharing a little sunshine from their family to yours.
The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration in the United States. Since it was established in 1861, there have been 3,517 people awarded with the medal. I'm Malcolm Gladwell, and our new podcast from Pushkin Industries and iHeartMedia is about those heroes. Listen to Medal of Honor, Stories of Courage on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Medal of Honor, Stories of Courage.
Told you I can prove that America is the best nation on earth. Yes, for those already bombarding me, we will have that. In fact, we have got our video guy extraordinaire, Matthew Bushy, putting together, which we believe will be dropped later this evening or tomorrow for the 4th of July, a recorded video version with graphics, with music, with everything of that monologue. I am going to have it posted with all of the citations. You're going to be able to get it all day, all 4th of July weekend. America is, by every objective measurement, the world leader in finance, in military, in culture, in athletics, in science, in healthcare, in everything. There is no way in which we do not dominate the world. We are by far and have long been the world's greatest superpower and the world's greatest force for good. Joining me now is the president of the Wisconsin Faith and Freedom Coalition, John Pudner, to talk about the impact of the Supreme Court's decision to, allow President Trump to just kill people indiscriminately, huh? See, America, this is the talking point, John. This is the talking point. Right before the 4th of July, America now has a king.
Yes, that is it. And the Supreme Court usually rules on something when it's been evident for years and is suddenly challenged.
Yes.
And that's what happened. I mean, clearly, presidents haven't been prosecuted for people killed during World War II because they sent troops there. I mean, reduce it to the absurd on what the left was claiming in this case.
Well, how about going back to World War II? Korematsu v. United States, which was actually cited in Sotomayor's hysterical defense in the immunity case, was FDR or his vice president who continued the policy of interning Japanese Americans, Harry Truman, were they ever subject to criminal prosecution for false imprisonment, let's say? Of course not. It was never even contemplated. There was always implied absolute immunity for official acts of the presidency. I mean, this is not something that's new.
That's right. And I think the underlying issue is the left's case these next few months is that Donald Trump is such a threat to democracy that the end justifies any means to stop him. And then I think the counter underlying is, no, the threat to democracy is that if we're going to set a precedent of winning an election by using prosecutors to bankrupt, imprison, or get the opposing candidate off the ballot, that's the true threat to democracy. So I think that's the split in the country right now.
Well, and I think people are understanding that. The fact that President Trump was convicted of 34 felonies, it was just absurd from the start. But I worried that the, as Rush Limbaugh called them famously, low information voters would say, well, I don't want to vote for a felon. I think that was the stratagem. But I guess I underestimated the American people a little bit. They saw right through it, and they said, okay, we know what this is, and we don't like it.
Yes, and if you look at the 34 felonies, it's unbelievable. The one is a check for a payment. The two is the invoice for the same payment. The three is the other time it was entered a book, and then next month is felony 4. It's as absurd as it was. But I think the core in this argument is, who did they pick to be the lead prosecutor on Trump? They picked Jack Smith. People say it's not just Trump. Jack Smith 10 years ago did the same thing to a mild-mannered Virginia governor, Bob McDonnell. And same thing, basically, that he was talking up business leaders like every governor does. One of them was a bad apple. He had to spend $28 million defending himself. He got a 2-year prison sentence on Bob McDonnell. Mild-mannered guy. Couldn't be more different than Trump. And 9-0, the Supreme Court threw out Jack Smith. Ruth Bader Ginsburg threw it out. So that's the guy you go to. The guy who's proven to stretch the Constitution, break it, just to get a conviction of a political opponent. That's who led the charge for him.
John Putner with the Wisconsin Faith and Freedom Coalition joining me. I'm sure you've got an opinion on what's going on right now. I asked Michael Watley, chairman of the Republican National Committee, whether he thought Biden would be the nominee. He gave me a very political answer. Well, we're focused on, Donald Trump getting elected and doing the job the American people wants us to do. I know you'll give me a straight answer. Is Biden going to be the nominee? Forget about by the convention. Will he be the nominee next week?
I'm still leaning toward thinking he is, but the Kamala, is interesting because, as you mentioned earlier in the show, that's part of the thing is you can't transfer all these funds. Now, there's so many outside funds now that, remember, there'll be a few billion spent that are not part of the official campaign, so that's not a deal breaker to bring someone else in. But I still lean to thinking he is, but it's amazing the people I think would be insiders there, they're split 50-50, and they're all absolutely sure they're correct in their perspective.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems as though the narrative is shifted. I'm going to play you a montage here of elected Democrats. These are 3 elected Democrats all saying, yeah, we should probably pivot to Kamala. She's ready, and here we go.
So many of the different aspects of the Democratic coalition would be super excited about a Kamala Harris run.
This party should not in any way do anything to work around Ms. Harris. We should do everything we can to bolster her, whether it's in second place or at the top of the ticket.
I mean, she's prepared. She's been our vice president. Who else?
That was Barbara Lee, James Clyburn, and Tim Ryan, all, I think, coming to the realization that the only viable alternative, I think, because of the transfer of those hundreds of millions of dollars could only really go to her. I think they're recognizing and trying to talk her up because they know if they're replacing Biden, it's really Harris or bust.
Yes, and I think the bigger thing is they don't want a brokered convention. If Biden's being removed and suddenly their convention, instead of being staged, is going to be people fighting over 3 candidates to round up delegates who've been released, while they're having the pro-Hamas protesters all over Chicago. We've seen a bad DNC in Chicago before, and that's their nightmare. So I think at least they want to be ready to say, if we dump Biden, here's where we go. Let's not have a 4-day war over this.
Would there be a scenario in which a Gavin Newsom could parachute in? I mean, you've been doing campaigns for a long time. I just don't see it. I mean, the infrastructure alone of I don't think people understand how many people need to staff a presidential campaign.
Yes, that's correct. Trump actually did it with a very light staff in 2016, but I credit Reince Priebus. He had a huge RNC organization everywhere. So that's actually probably the one time he could have done it. The party was actually in place. But yeah, generally, I mean, Hillary Clinton in 2016 had 1,000 employees in Ohio for 2 years leading up to the election. Now, they did no good, but you're right, to change that whole infrastructure over reporting. I mean, internally, campaigns are a mess. They try to make them look clean from the outside, but they're just hard to organize.
He is John Putner with the Wisconsin Faith and Freedom Coalition, joining me here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sir, have yourself a wonderful Independence Day and 4th of July weekend.
Thanks for having me on.
We will be back to wrap things up here on the Dan O'Donnell Show next. Stay tuned.
It's Jerry Bott. And if you're someone with chronic back pain, listen up. I have really good news and a number you can call to get some relief. If your back pain is due to a disc problem, there's a non-surgical procedure that can help discs actually grow and recover. It's called Disc Seal. This FDA-approved biologic repairs damaged discs with a simple injection. Takes about 20 minutes, minimally invasive, no surgery, no fusion, no metal rods, and no long recovery time. Best of all, Disc Seal works. Pain relieved, flexibility restored, success rate over 80%. Chronic back pain is miserable. This could be your chance to play golf again, do some gardening, ride your bike, get your life back. It's Disc Seal powered by Longevity Health 360. Call for a consultation absolutely free, 262-200-2700, or visit WIDiscSeal, that's SEEL.com. Disc Seal powered by Longevity Health 360.
With nearly 50 years of experience, my dad, Jim Mullally, has taught my cousin Mark everything he knows. In fact, he bestowed so much expertise onto Mark that Mark went to New York to compete against the top furniture finishers in the country. And you know what? He won. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. The bulk of our business is in wood furniture restoration. We found that there are a lot of folks out there with antique furniture and heirloom pieces that are in good shape, but just need to be brought back to life again. Well, that's our specialty. And right here in Mequon, you'll find one of the country's top furniture finishers. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
If you had $1 million in 2009, today it will be worth less than $700,000. That's the effect of out-of-control government spending shrinking your hard-earned dollars, and it's why central banks and savvy investors are buying gold. For thousands of years, gold has withstood war, famine, and economic downturns. It's been a stalwart hedge against inflation and hyperinflation. And the company I, Buck Sexton, trust to help you diversify into gold is Birch Gold Group. For 2 decades, Birch Gold has helped concerned Americans convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. And the best part, it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, you can trust Birch Gold, too.
To learn more, text the word PROTECT to 989898 and get a free, no-obligation info kit on gold. Again, text PROTECT to the number 989898 to protect your hard-earned savings today.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who's experiencing shoulder, spine, hip, knee, or musculoskeletal pain and a total joint replacement might be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality of joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Join News Talk
Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130, WISN.
Life's a journey, and Russ Darrow is revving up for the ride. Russ Darrow and the places you'll go. Head to russdarrow.com to explore how they can help you get to your next adventure.
The housing market stays hot and prices stay high, with low inventory continuing to be the main culprit. Bob Tarantino from Redefined Realty, and that's great news for sellers. High interest rates don't seem to be slowing down the buyers, but high real estate commissions are a real stick in the eye to sellers. Interview a 3.99% Redefined Realty agent before signing a contract for 5 or even 6%. Commissions are negotiable, but you have to know where to start. Visit redefinedrealty.com for your free market analysis.
Don't think twice, phone call Geis. Need a new garage door, do it right. Don't think twice, phone call Geis.
For all your garage door needs, don't think twice, call Geis or visit their online showroom at geisstores.com.
Want to make your yard the envy of the neighborhood? Tune in to Brett Octenhagen's Seasonal Services Designer Yard Show to learn landscaping secrets. Visit seasonalservices.com and listen on News Talk 1130 WISN, Saturdays at 1 p.m.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Classical conservatism. Contemporary style. This is the Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hope everyone has a fun and safe 4th of July holiday. Parades, fireworks, not in Milwaukee. Of course, I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention that fiasco. A fantastic report on Channel 12 over the weekend with all of the Biden and Supreme Court news this week. Didn't have a chance to cover it. Channel 12, the ABC affiliate in Milwaukee, did an in-depth report on the decision to cancel Milwaukee's 3rd of July fireworks. Folks, from the open records request emails that Channel 12 got, I would be shocked if they ever do fireworks again. It's beyond apparent that the left-wingers in county government, they just don't want to do them. They just, I think for a multitude of reasons, they're blaming the RNC and the Harley Fest, which is now going to be an annual event. Who's their headliner again? It's someone awesome. Is it Red Hot Chili Peppers? Oh, that's right. It's 2 nights. Yeah. Chili Peppers and Jelly Roll. I'm not a huge country guy, but obviously the Peppers. Would I prefer Elton John? I was at Elton John on the 100th, and I was actually, my wife and I, because our song is Tiny Dancer, we were like the only two. We're like, yeah, Elton John. Everybody's throwing beer bottles at the stage. No, I would absolutely love Elton John. And I did. They're blaming Harley Fest, because Harley Fest needs to set up 2 weeks later. Really? You can't get around a stage, and it's just an excuse. And basically what the powers that be, Crowley especially in his office, were worried about is the political fallout. They understood that the decision to cancel was going to be very unpopular, which it is. What I understand is that, and what the emails make clear, is that there were businesses who were stepping forward, Milwaukee companies, to say, yeah, of course we'll underwrite the fireworks. Yeah, you slap our name on it, let's do it. The county didn't want that. The decision was made months earlier, as early as March. Remember, it was, I got the exclusive. I got wind that they were planning this at least an hour or two before they made the official press release. And it was the Friday before Memorial Day, the ultimate news dump. Well, they were talking about when to release it to mute its impact, and they got away with it. There were companies that wanted the fireworks to go on. They could have easily had the fireworks go on. As I speculated at the time when I reported this a month and a half ago, or a little more than a month ago, they just didn't want to. And that's beyond apparent. That's been proven now. Frankly, I think the biggest reason is that the left is just not patriotic anymore. They don't particularly care for this country because it's a celebration of America, Dave. And they believe that America is a fundamentally racist, awful place that shouldn't be celebrated. It should be tolerated. It should be improved. It should be remade in the image of, I don't know, socialism. The reality is that America is great in spite of buffoons like this, in spite of its government, in spite of the people in power. It's great because of the people. People like you who every single day go out, do your jobs in your own small way, make America great. Love your family, take care of your neighbors, be a pillar of your community. That's what American greatness is and has always been. It's not the celebrities or sports stars or politicians or corporate overlords. It's the everyday heroes who do everyday things every day that make this country what it is. Tomorrow, we celebrate everyday people who nearly 250 years ago risked everything they had to declare their independence. And we, as the grandsons and daughters of them, celebrate their legacy of freedom and do everything we can to uphold it. I hope each and every one of you have a happy, safe, and glorious Independence Day. I'm back Monday morning right here on The Dan O'Donnell Show.